All right, guys, let's get started. All right, so last class we discussed a few things, right? About the design objects. We covered like most of them, right? So starting from like rule object, we discussed more about like integration object. Like when time permits, actually, I will try to give you like more detail about uh, this one, especially like on your interview preparation. I will give you actually like more like what to say during like interview. uh, I will focus on that, like on that interview session. So on this one, like kind of like one of the question is just to mention or like want to explain what is connect system integration and web API. So on that time, like definitely you will have like some idea there. Also, like we discussed like about group object, right? What is group? Group will allow us like for organizing users, right? Most like what is group type? So group type is nothing. It is will help us to organize groups, right? So let's actually uh also like we cover like about like content management objects, kind of like folders to store different Appian objects. So today we'll try to like jump on the application building blocks. Also, like we will spend some time like just designing our other stuff, right? So but like I wanna mainly like focus on like on this chapter 3 application building. We're gonna do like just some kind of like expression editing, right? Some kind of like how we actually transform data, right? And we cover already like the data types. I need to include that like the Appian functions, different Appian functions, variables, arrays, conversion, collaboration, testing, and troubleshooting expression, right? We're gonna cover this on transforming for data, but like just mainly focus on like managing users and groups while doing like the expression, transforming like for different transforming data. So we're gonna clean up our interface, as well as we're gonna create like some expression rules. All right. So what is actually user groups, right? So what is manage users and groups like in Appian? So the reason actually I wanna discuss more about users is user is actually actually like groups are actually very uh, important concept in Appian, because we are actually dealing with different things like based on the groups, right? So if you wanna restrict access, right? If you want to give some kind of access, as well as like if you want to show them or like create like a focused area for specific users, specific user groups, then we'll handle that based on like groups. So groups are used like to organize like users, like for example, like so this lesson actually I wanna this kind of like it will give you like what is user and what is actually user groups, right? And uh, once you know that, actually it will be like very easy like for you like to implement security across the system. Right, so groups used to organize users and facilitate security within both Appian Designer and individual application, right? So we're gonna use them like for each Appian Designer, like in when we say Appian Designer, when we actually creating Appian design object, right? When we create a record type, when you create a process model, right? So we're gonna add a group, right? Uh, to add like a security to give access for the users to access those specific design object. And also like we can also just make a security, or just set up a security on individual applications, right? Even applications. All right, let me go back here. Even when we on a designer, so when we create a different application, when we create a different design object, we do this, right? When we create design object, as well as like when we create an application, right? So if you add like a new application, or like once we have like a different application, now we can click on here and then add the security, right? So it's always possible. So, but like creating like adding the additional security based on the groups, right? So you can add like users or groups. So, for example, right, if I add like a group, kind of like only individual person, right, an individual or an individual user. So Appian, so still we can do that, right? But it's kind of like not a best practice, right? It's always best practice to secure your application or your design object using groups instead of a specific user. Right here, so like it'll give you like automatically a warning message. It's not error, right? It's it's not like you can still do it, but it's not. It's kind of like a warning, right? So you can restrict based on the user, but when you set up like a security for a different object, you have to have a group. So securing application or design object using a group, that'll be your best shot, right? So what is group? All right, so we're gonna cover like this guy. All right, so now like in addition to groups you created, like Appian also provide system groups to manage users' access to specific areas of the Appian platform, right? So not only like we can create like user groups, right? For example, like I created for administrator group as well as user group, right? But also like Appian, when they provide you the platform, right? When they provide you like a software, so it's automatically there will be a built-in or like just existing groups that will help you just to identify like different system administrator role or designer role or different roles, right? So for example, I will for example, let me try to show you here, right? So like when Appian actually give you the platform, so there will be a system groups. So system groups, like let me just go to the end. So we'll see them like, right? For example, like here, so teams like database schema editor, right? So this is kind of like just by adding myself to database schema editor group, right? On this actually like it's a group type. This is the group type. So let me just go back one down.
Picture يتغير.
Oh, you can't see the.
Yeah.
No,
I
we
don't see
can't.
many things.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I tot că nimesului meu logout are kicker.ndk.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Actually, it's gonna be on the recording. So anyway, like Buzumari. So. All right. You see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So. All right. Here, right. So we are actually kind of like discussing about like managing users in groups, right? Appian prefers to secure each design object as well as individual application using group instead of individual user. Also, in addition to that, groups, right? So like we created kind of like user group, all user group, and administrator group, right? So that is actually that's actually a group we want to create. Like for each application, when you create, it's automatically created, right? You can rename it, you can make it like security level or something like that, right? But Appian, when they provide you the platform, so they also like actually give you they actually provide with some specific groups, right? There are like multiple groups, like tempo user group, right? So I want to show you here. Most of them is right there. Okay, let me type at least. All right, so for example, like it's a designer group, right? It's a group type, but like they don't kind of like heading from us. So design groups is kind of like we have to be on part of like a design group to access the designer, right? So there is some trick, right? For example, like when we create when I create a user, right? When we create one user, when we are actually creating the user, so we have like this security label, right? So like one is user type, the basic user, and system admin, right? Once we are actually with the system admin, right? Once we are system admin, so we have access to everything, right? We have access to multiple stuff, right? So admin console and everything like that, right? But like also like we can create like a user using the basic user role and then add them to the designer group, right? So by adding them, like making them like when you create a user, so as a basic user, so that means like you have like a lot of limitation. So basic user is nothing like they're not a designer or they're not a developer or something, right? But like by giving them like extra access, right? So by adding them to this specific group, designer group, so they will have like even the basic users will have access to the designer, so they can create Appian design objects, right? So they can access Appian designer, so they can access the backend. So this is why we can inhibit, especially like on production environment. We're gonna create like we're not actually creating like a system admin user, right? Because system admin user is actually kind of a super user, right? So they can do like deletion, they can do like any kind of update, right? So we want to avoid those stuff, especially on a higher environment. So when anybody asks us like to create a user just to access the backend, like a designer or something, we're gonna create like a basic user, and then we make them we add them to the designer group. So here I want to tell you right there, right? So groups, even Appian, when they provide you the platform, so they want you to they want to access like a few specific features, so they will use actually a group, right? So even like Appian, when they provide us the platform, so they actually provide us with the system groups, right? So we call them like system groups to manage user access to specific areas of the Appian platform. So if they have like design group, so you can access the designer. If you add the users to the tempo group, so they can access a tempo. If you are access like if you add them like to the quick app, so they will have the ability to create a quick app, right? If you add them to the database editor group, then the whoever the user will have access to the backend database. So in addition to the whatever like we created, so we have to be part of the system groups, so we able to like access Appian platform, like some features of Appian platforms. All right. So groups you create and system groups can contain both individual users and other groups, right? So when we create actually a group, so assume like this is your group, okay? Assume like you have a group, right? So this is a group A. This group is actually is a designer group. It's fine, like right, a designer group, right? So we can still add like a user group, like a user inside that individual group in the group, or we can add also like another group right there inside inside the groups. We can add another group. So that is for example, just there is group one. So there is a group one, right? So like we created a group A and we create like a group B. So inside group B, Amara will be, part of group B, right? And here in group A, Iman is actually on group A, right? So if I want to add Amara to group A, right, I can add him like directly here. So he can be part of a group like direct member of the group. Or I can add group B, right? I will take like all group B and then add them to this group. So that way, like Amara will be a direct member of group B, but he will be a group of he will be part of the member of the group A, but he's indirect member, right? He's not a direct member. I just want to right here. So I'm gonna add myself here. Let me create one right here. Okay, so so we have this group, right? I can add myself, like I have like all this group, AIS user groups, AIS master manager, AIS IT technical and everything, right? So but like for example, like if I want to be AIS user, right? If I'm part of AIS group, if you see in the AIS group, there are actually a lot of like I'm indirect member of group there. So hashtag is actually indirect member of them because I'm actually part of like one of them, right? I'm part of one, but like I'm not a direct member. So, but I can also add myself. For example, if you see here, right? So I'm part of the group, like the IS user group, but I'm not actually a direct member. But all these groups, right? If you see all these groups is actually part of these AIS group users, right? But all are actually member types, are direct members. Only like hashtag is actually indirect because if I go inside in one of them, I'll find myself as a direct group right there. I'm a direct group like on this guy, administrative group, but like this group is actually part of. So this group is actually part of the total group, right? So the AIS group. So I'm a direct group on this guy, but this group is also like a direct member of like AIS user group. So I will be a member, but I'm an indirect member. I'm not a direct member. If I want to be a direct member, so I will add myself right here, right? So I'm gonna add myself as a member, right? So if you see like here indirect, right? So like once I add myself here, add, right? Click add, so I will be like an indirect member. Now, because I just added myself to this group, so I'm part of like two groups. A hashtag is a direct member of this guy. But if I remove this, right? If I remove myself from this group, if I remove myself from this group, what will happen? I will be still, right? If I remove myself from this group, I will still be a member, but like my member type will be an indirect, right? So whatever the access, because if I want to remove myself, or like from all, like from this system, right? From this group, so I have to remove myself from this guy, right? For example, if I remove this guy, like if I remove from a direct member from here, then I'll be out from the other group, right? Okay. So groups you created in system groups can contain both individual users and other groups. You can assign a group membership manually or dynamically based on a membership rule, right? So how can so just to give you like I just added like myself, right? So like in any user group, right? In any user group, you can add like anybody, right? You can add anybody on that specific group. But also like there is another way, right? Right. So like I want to go out from here, right? So I will check the users, right? For example, like there is a user here. Okay, everybody's fake.com. Okay. All right. Let me open this guy again. Okay, so you can add like a member in the group, like manually, or you can add a member in a group, like automatically, right? So dynamically, it can be added like using a membership rule, right? So, for example, anybody like when they join the team, right? When they join to the company, so they will ask you to add like to the proper group, right? So otherwise there will be like some security issue on them, right? For accessing different sites. So in order to avoid that, right? So when we create a user, so we will sometimes we're gonna set up a membership rule, right? So based on the username, based on or the user email address, or based on the email attribute we added, so we're gonna actually fetch it, and then we're gonna add them like directly to the group, right? For example, like let me go to vendor management here, right? Right. So let me add, for example, admin group, right? So now I'm actually hashtag is actually admin group right there. So I can add like different group, different users. Like I have like different users right here. For example, I will take Regina, right? Regina registrar, and add them to my specific group. Right. So now Regina has like Regina has like this. It can be part of my admin group, right? So if you see here, right? So I did it like manually. So like assume like you have like multiple requests every day, right? So like 100 people join the company and then try to access site. So you have to go inside and then do the mapping, right? So like you have to add this, you have to create that group, you have to add them like on a different group, right? So to avoid that, right? So for example, like I have like let me remove this guy first, right? So let me remove Regina from out of my group. So if you see here, like I want to add actually like all these guys, like all the fake.com, right? So if anyone like just joined my company with the fake.com email, right? Or like at Gmail, or like at any kind of email, or any kind of like username or something, right? So based on that, I can create some kind of membership rule, right? So if I will create like anytime, right? So you can have like a membership rule. So just to add like a membership, like to add like user automatically or like dynamically here, so you can add like a different kind of like membership rule. So you can add. All right, so uh, I'm limited here. All right. Okay, so yeah, so kind of like I need to work on my access as well here, because there should be like add a member user group button right here. So you can click on the add button user group there, and then you just pass like whoever like the members having the user group, right, having like that email address, like that email is matching, right? The users if match that specific email, then automatically the members, like when you create the members with that specific fake email ID, right? So with the fake at fake.com or at fake anything like that after like at fake.com, then automatically will be part of that specific user group. So we can add like manually, but like sometimes we need some specific user. For example, like all user group, right? We will have like one big user group. So when we create a user, I want them like actually automatically part of the all user group, at least, right? So we need to have like a membership rule. Whenever the user created, then add that user to this group, so they will have access to at the broad application. So by making like a different membership rule, you can add different users to different groups, so they will have like different access level. But there is two ways, like you can add like manually, or also you can add like membership rule. So you can create your own membership rule, and based on that you will have some access there. Okay, so now like let's actually kind of like discuss like what is group, right? uh, just to give you like some idea. So there you go. All right, something is wrong. I can't see my mouse. right. So what happened? Okay, let me stop sharing. For some reason, like I don't know why. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right, guys. So all right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, for some reason, like I was not able to control my mouse. Okay, so right there. So like how like what is a group, right? So for example, like you have assume like this is our when you join a company, like for example, like when you say like target, right? So target as this like the oval shape, all the oval shape is kind of like the big company, right? The big company is actually kind of like all the users, like when they have like one employee, so you are actually now employee of a target, right? So that means like you are part of this target group, but in target you will have like a different user, right? Different departments, right? There will be like IT department, there will be accounting department, there will be like marketing department, sales, human resource, and managers and purchase, right? For example, now you are actually hired for target, but the people like the department they hire you is actually marketing, right? So you are part of like you're maybe part of like a sales group, right? So now when you join a company, then we need to add you to like we have to work on with the sales, right? So when you build an application in Appian, so for target, right? So you're gonna create, right? Uh, this kind of like a use case, right? So you're gonna create like a one group, right? So that group's actually that group's gonna be like all user group, right? So targets all user group, right? So this guy, like all these guys gonna be like targets. We're gonna create like all on this guy. It's gonna be this one is all target group, all user group for target, right? Whenever anybody is actually join the company, they will be part of this big group, right? So that's why like we have like in our application we have like all user group, right? So but like you are actually part of the sales group, right? So we're gonna create different groups in Appian. So you have like one all user group, but we have to create like a group for sales, a group for market, but this the parent group for them is actually a all user group. So that's why we see if you see here right, so if you see here on my application, right, if you see the parent group, like for example, like just let me get this guy. If you see the group, like all user groups, it actually is for that specific application. But if you see here, like, and then see the property, like property, you see like this all the user groups they don't have like parent. right? So because it's kind of like a big one, right? The big groups like but like if you go here and then check the admin, like they are actually the target groups, like, but they are on the admin side, right? So they have actually part of the original group. So that's why like we have like a parent there, right? So here when we create this guy, sorry. So when we create this guy, right? So we have all the user groups, but we have also like groups needs to be like for marketing, accounting, as well as like admin group, right? So if you want them, like if it's once you join the company, if they want you to access like sales side and accounting side, so they're gonna add you like on both group, right? So they have to add you like on the sales group as well as on the accounting group, right? So just want to give you some kind of hint, right? So we always, like when we have like a user created in Appian, so the first thing we have to do is actually which groups he has to be, right? Otherwise, he will be, he will have like some limited access, either like accessing the sites, or it's either like accessing different actions or like related actions. So that's why like it's actually best to understand like how the group works, right? So when we are like, for example, like when actually join the company, for example, Target, so you'll be part of all the user group, but you are not part of all. You will not be a part of like any of the group, right? So then like when you try to access, so you'll access like only limited information, right? Like maybe only you see the site. You'll so for example, like we created like a dashboard for sales, dashboard for accounting. So if you want to access like Salesforce and dashboard accounting, so you'll get like access to that page. But like if you like when you have like an access to that page, so you'll raise a services request saying I want to have like Salesforce, sales dashboard access. Then they're gonna add you, like they're gonna create a ticket, and then they're gonna add you to this specific group. Then after that, so you will have like an access to sales dashboard. Same way the other, right? So sometimes you'll be part of like sales group. So sales groups will have access to the marketing application. So when you got that request, you will be added to like both group. Then you will have access to the marketing and sales dashboard as well. This is how actually groups work, right? So always when you create an application, you will have like an all user group. So that's all. It will be like parent for all inside groups, and you will have like, for example, like managers group and everything like that, right? All right. So let me. Do you have any question on group? Is this clear, like group thing?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, direct and where is direct and indirect? Like, how does that affect their access? Or that means they both have similar access towards it?
Yeah. So actually, they will have like the same access. Like if they are actually a direct member as well as if they're an indirect member, so they will have access. As right, but like if you see here, for example, you are part of sales group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Nathanath is part of like marketing. And just when we add this sales group to this marketing, so now you'll be part of like a direct member of a sales group, but also like you'll be a part of like marketing indirectly, right? You'll be an indirect member of marketing, right? Whatever like Nathanath is, you'll see, right? Because you are part of the marketing group as well, right? But you are actually like you both work on the same company, but you belongs to two groups. One direct member of like a sales group and one is like indirect user group. So you will have like all access, right? Because you're not actually a direct member of the marketing, right? But your group, like you belong to as a direct member, is actually part of a direct member group in this marketing. So you will have like all the access to on marketing dashboard, like marketing functionality. So the only difference is actually you have access to both. You will have like both access, like for if there is any kind of like security set up like on sales and marketing, you can have access. But Nazanet will be she's only like she's a direct member of marketing. She will have only features access for marketing, right? So there is nothing like if you are like a direct member or indirect member, you will access the same.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? Yeah, can I guys? Okay. All right. Then like so now, right? So now for our application, right? At least like we're gonna create like a few things, right? So here, just to show like hierarchy, right? So when you join a company, you'll be part of like all user group, right? But in all user group, you can have like different kind of department, right? For example, administrator department, like like for our case, like a vendor applicant, right? So there'll be like a vendor applicant. So when you see a user, and then to identify like what is actually the role of the user, right? We can easily see, and then it's check like which part of the group is actually he belongs to, right? So for that, what you can do is actually if you wanna see here, right? So each user group, like for example, like here I'm right here, right? So if you see here like groups, there's like if you click on the user, so you will see like which groups I belong to, right? I belong to like all these groups, so I will have like a lot of access, right? So you can, by seeing like the user, clicking the user, and then see the detail, right? Like which groups I belong to, and then I will review right from here, and then if I need like more access, I will request. I will like they will add me to there to different groups, so I will have like full access, right? So you can always just go there, like click on that user, and then see okay what kind of like role they have, right? So if I belong to only like applicant group, right? Like there is no group there because okay, there is no group right there. All right. Yeah, but anyways, like when you have like a sysadmin access or designer access, like you'll see like all leaders, for all leaders you can have like all these access, like you'll see the group information, right? So all this group information you will have is you can't tell like which user is actually belongs to on which group, on which role, like you can't tell the role of the group, the user. So so here now wanna right. So now like you see like I'm like when I joined the company, right? When we joined the company, like we'll be part of like all leader groups, like part of like all the company, right? One of the employee, right? When you join the company, you'll be part of the company. So that means like you are in the group, like in all leader group. Like everybody on the company is actually part of all leader group, right? But like now, like we're gonna just categorize them, right? So we're gonna actually group based on like an administrator role, applicant vendor role, supervisor role, and account manager role, right? So we're gonna add them to this specific role, right? So now, like if they belongs to like administrator role, so they will have like some kind of administrator task, right? If they are applicant, like for in our case, like it's a vendor applicant, So they should be like a part of like vendor applicant to create an to add or like to add new application. And that's VMG supervisor is actually no like all the groups like belongs to this group, like who review like the application submitted by the applicant group, right? So when they add like a new vendor application, so we're gonna have like a review like a group like which reviewed all the application and then reject or approve, right? And then you have like kind of like account manager group. So they will see kind of like all the report, right? Kind of reports. They oversee the information whatever they did on the supervisor, right? And in each group, right, for example, like if you see the vendor applicant group, so in vendor applicant group, so you'll have like even like you can have like different child groups, right? Inside this VM applicant there will be account manager, IT managers, HR manager or something, right? uh, and like for each department, like for example, like each group, so you'll have like a manager group, right? So now like I can create another group, right? For example, like if it it's like I don't want to complicate things, but like just at least like I want you to hold it like in an hierarchy, like the whole entire polygon, right? So again, like I can add like a different thing, right? For example, like I can add like one group here, and I can add like manager group, and each one have like like they have like for example HR manager, right? Each department maybe have like their own a VMZ supervisor, HR supervisor, or something like manager groups, right? Here as well, like onboarding, right? It's kind of like manager group, right? So they will be like part of like this manager group, right? For each group, but also like if they belong to like as a manager, so I can add them to indirectly here, right there. So anybody's manager, so they will be like so kind of like all the manager group, right? So if there is a meeting, like if there is any kind of like meeting for only managers, right? I can send email to specifically to this group. So all the managers, like for each department, they will receive email, right? So this is kind of like simple concept, like just you will create like kind of like container, or like or you kind of like create like a container and then add the users like to that specific container, right? So like if they belong to administrator, so you'll add them to the administrator group. If you add them to different user groups, so you add them like a different user group, right? So like let's now like it's kind of clear now until itosana how the users work, right? So okay, so we have like all user group and administrator group, right? In our application, right? So I just have like an all user group as well as like the administrator group. Like when we create an application, automatically it will create for one all user group for me and administrator, and then it's actually there, its parent is actually going to be BM user group. So I'm going to create like these three groups, right? Let's create like three at least three more groups, right? A vendor applicant, supervisor, and account manager, right? Let's go. All right, now like I will go here on my application, inside of my application, and I want to add a few groups, right? So I just filter it with a group. But let me add like a few groups. One is I'm gonna create one more group, and it's gonna be applicant. I will say like vendor applicant. Okay, and this vendor applicant, you can add like as always, right? So it's always good like to add this all your group, right? This guy. this is a parent, like because vendor applicant is actually a child group, right? So we need to have like a parent group. So the parent group is actually all user group, and I can add actually here from here. I can add like user members like from here. When we are actually creating the group, we can still add like the individual user, right? So while you're creating, but also like you can create the groups, like groups automatically inherit the security from the parent, right? Whatever the parent has, it will have like that access, right? And I have now like a vendor applicant group, right? If I go inside, I don't have anybody, right? Part of this group. So if you want to add any user, so you can add user and then add them to the add them to that specific group. So this is actually part like kind of like it's always like if anyone asks like kind of like a permission issue or something, so make sure like you add them to the proper group, right? So let me add like one more. I have like applicant, so I'm going to create another guy. Is actually supervisor groups. It's always good to have reviewer groups. We can give like some kind of description. It's always good to have like the parent group as all user group. Still you can add like a member right here from here as well. Let me add myself like on this guy now, and like the group type is kind of like if you want to create like a group type, for example, like actually what I'm gonna show you like so just want to create a group type. So once you have a group type, so you can actually, instead of custom, so you can have like your own group type there. Like for our case, I'm gonna actually just remove this guy. Let me copy this, cancel. Right, I'm gonna add actually group type. So group type is nothing, like it will help us to organize the group, right? So I can create like group type here. I'd add vendor applicant, right? So it is group type to help organize the vendor management, right? Something like this. Right, now if I create like a supervisor group, I'll create a supervisor group here, and the parent group is going to be 1 2 3 4 all user group, and it is reviewer group. Description, I add myself here as, right? And now like instead of group type custom, like it's all like, if you don't have a group type, it's okay, like just that's fine. But like if you want to organize things, so you can add like our own like group type. So I created like this vendor applicant group type. So any groups like inside this vendor applicants, kind of like will be a part of the vendor applicants group. So any time like when they say like what kind of groups actually, like how many groups we have like on the for vendor applicant or something, so we can easily tell like under this custom under this group type is all of our vendor applicants or vendor management application groups are there. You can find it. So the visibility and everything is actually fine. So you can see that there. Okay, this supervisor group, like if you see now, like we have you see like the group type and the group actually kind of like similar, but like they have in the icon, so they have like users. The groups are users. This is actually kind of like a type, nothing. It's not a user, but it's actually help us to manage the groups, right? If I look inside here, so I'll see all the users, all the groups which use this vendor applicant group type. So it's just same time like when we add actually when we actually click here on the admin group, so I will see like the users, right? the users in the groups. When you click on the group type, right, inside that group type, so you'll see all the groups which is actually part of the group specific group type. So kind of like group type will help us to organize the groups, right? So I don't have like a permission or something like that, but you can always. All right, so let me see. Right, see, like I think once we create them, actually we can't. Yeah, we can't update that, right? So that's fine, but so still like we can do that. Like let's create like one more. That's gonna be account manager. Right, it's gonna be account manager group. It is manager for report viewer. All right, and the parent group is always 1 2 3 4. All right, so in the parent group we have like already the group type. I can add that. So here I can add myself here as well, or right, so like visibility, like it's kind of like in restricted only members and admins, like kind of there is two visibilities, right? So like one is a personal, only admin, whoever like has admin access will see the members. Otherwise, like it can be restricted and then only members and admins will see those members, right? So privacy policy low, there is a high, right? So low privacy policy is actually members can see each other. If it's high, only admins can see all the members, right? So kind of like it's a privacy thing, but like most of the time, like even like when we are actually creating a real project, we're not actually focusing on this. So that's why like I'm not giving like much emphasis. So we're not actually changing anything on this guy. But if still like you have an option to restrict some kind of access only for the members, like they see each other or something like that. All right, so now we created our groups. Any question on groups, guys? All right. So as I explained like earlier, right? So there are multiple Appian user groups, right? So like system built groups, just you don't need to like know all of them, but like at least like you have like groups is it's nothing we like the developers actually it's nothing, but it will help us just to to organize user, but also like Appian give like when they provide the platform, so they also like give us like the system groups, so that's actually manage like will help us like to manage for for any developers or anything like accessing like different features of Appian platform. So there are a few like when you create like user, like first thing like there will be just to create them, like there will be like a basic user group and then system admin, right? So if you are a basic user, you have to be part of like some of the groups to access the designer. If you are a system admin, so you have like superpower, right? So when you create a user and then you are actually make them like system admin, so they will have like a designer, deletion and everything, right? So they will see like every part of Appian platform. But if you can make them instead of like for security purpose or something, just when you create a user, so just create them as a basic user and then add them to different Appian system user groups, right? So there will be Appian application designer. So just to access a designer, like the right access like we have right now, like Appian access to like limited on access loan on a basic user argo. So we'll have like that kind of access malano. Tempo user ግሩፖች አሉ like quick app creator role group አለ service account role group አለ cloud database access role grouፖች አሉና so እያንዳንዱ access ላይ like for example like for some specific users, right, like for example managers or something, if they need kind of access to tempo report, right? So tempo recordoችን ማየት የሚፈልጉ ከሆነ we create them like as a basic user and then we can add them to the tempo user group, so like they will have like access to the tempo, right? just quick app creator groups. If you want to create like quick apps like real quick, right? So like in 3 minutes or like 4 5 minutes, right? We can add them like to the app, quick app creator group role, right? So this quick app creator role is actually like a cool feature Appian had. So kind of like now they don't have they don't give us like that access, like kind of like, because we don't have like the full power on the environment. So the quick app creator group, so you can if you are part of like a quick app creator role, you can easily create like quick applications in 3 or 4 minutes. And the cloud database access role, like if you need access to the database, right? So like Appian cloud database page admin, if you want to access some information from there, so you have to be part of this cloud database role, right? So the overall thing is actually like when Appian provide us a platform, so they provide us with the system admin, system groups as well. So just to limit access of like all users, so we have to create like users as a basic user, and then we add them like to specific groups to give them like specific feature access, right? All right. So now, like I don't want to go through this guy. So we're gonna actually like now starting from today, all right? Starting from today, like mainly like we're gonna do a lot of exercise. Okay, everything is gonna be like we try to cover like everything, like kind of like bulk information or something, deliver ላደርግ የምፈልጋቸው ነገሮች deliver አድርጌያለሁ, right? So starting from here, so we will gonna spend like a lot of time on exercising, right? So but this is all like from Appian, so you want to know about it, the designer and managing groups and everything, that kind of like concept, right? And starting from here, the basic programming, so we're gonna add directly to the programming, right? So like not the programming, but just kind of like creating different application, and we're gonna start like building our application. We just created like an applicant center, right? But we're gonna add like multiple things on top of that. Like just on this specific page, programming, any programming, right? So if you go to any programming language in Appian, Java, SQL, even MySQL, Laravel, SQL, any SQL, any programming language, Python, can be R, or any C#, C++, everything, right? They actually share the same thing, like they share like all these 5 objects, right? Every programming language shares the following 5 objects: variable, a data structure, a controller, a syntax, and a tool, right? A tool is nothing, right? It's ID integrated development of environment, right? For example, if you are actually a C# developer, right, you need to have access to Visual Studio, right? So they actually do their development on Visual Studio. If you are a Java developer, you need to have like Eclipse, right? So there is some kind of like integrated development for developing. For us, like for Appian, we have a designer, right, in a web browser, so we can design our stuff. So that's integrated actually kind of like the integrated development environment. So that's for us as a designer, but for each application, for each programming language, they should have like at least one. So they share like all this guy. So variable is nothing. You for example, like assume x equals to 5, right? Any program, assume x equals to 5 and assume y is equals to 2. What is x plus 5, right? So on variable, what we did is actually we are actually declaring something, like we declare x and then we put some value there, right? Store some value there. So it's kind of like simple, but it's actually very important, like in programming language, right? So because we do like a lot of like saving like on a fly, right? We're gonna define something, right? We define the variable, that's local variable x, and then variable x, I want to assign some value, I want to store some value on it, like x equals to 5, right? So I have like in Appian, when we declare a variable, we use a local, right? So local x equals 5, and I declare like another language, another variable local y equals 6. Then, like based on this, I do like like in here, like I just like this program, like just declare a variable. I store a variable, but at the data structure, I type the data types, right? So I type like an integer, right? So in each programming language, so they will be have like each types, each whatever like initiate የምናደርጋቸው ነገሮች they have like their own type, right? So right now, like I just pick just a single value, right, and then a number, right? So we have like data structure, right? So it's a kind of like either it's a like single value or it's an array or like a multiple value list of values, and then we have like multiple data types, right? የተለያዩ data typeዎችን refer አድርገናል, like text, number, any kind of, right? So at least like we covered this guy, right? So on local bank x is equal y and z, right? Now like I did what I did is what we need to do is actually there will be some controller, right? So we declare this, we have like assigned the data types and the list and everything, but also like any programming language, they have like some kind of controller, right? Some kind of controller. So on this some kind of controller, so there will be some condition, right? For example, አምስት ከአራት ከበለጠ የስድስትን ቫልዩ ያዝልኝ፣ right? አምስት ከአራት ከበለጠ ላይ ለምሳሌ ሌላ ቫሪያብል ባረግ ሎካል ባንክ z ኢኳልስ 9፣ right? የኤክስ ዋጋ ከአራት ከበለጠ ስድስትን ውሰድልኝ፣ ካልሆነ ግን ካልበለጠ ግን ላይ ካነሰ 9 ይሁን ቫልዩ የሚል ሎጂክ ማድረግ ብፈልግ I need to have like some kind of controller, right? So xን value control የሚያደርግልኝ I need some kind of logic, right? For that case, like we have like a lot of like controller languages, right? In each programming language, right? For example, like in Appian, we have like if, match, የምንጠቀማቸው functions ናቸው። if, condition, and match. Like case in SQL server like case function እንጠቀማለን። switch like in Java or something like that, right? So like እነዚህ የምንጠቀማቸው ነገሮች ናቸው። So choose, match, and if Appian ላይ በጣም እንጠቀማቸዋለን። So እነሱ ትንሽ የተወሰነ ከበር እናደርጋቸዋለን እየሰራን እያየን ማለት ነው። So ለምሳሌ like if condition ተጠቅሜ like እዚህ ጋር like if, right, if x value greater than 5 ከአምስት ከበለጠ then the value like ከአምስት ከበለጠ ስድስቱን ውሰድልኝ፣ የዋይን ዋጋ ውሰድልኝ፣ ካልበለጠ ግን የዜድን ዋጋ ውሰድልኝ፣ right? So simple logic, I just add like some condition, right? So we need to have like a controller to control the flow, right? So if x is greater than 5, just the value true when it's validate ሆኖ true ካመጣልኝ value and pick አድርግልኝ። value ደግሞ validate or like I'm say x ዋጋ 3 ከሆነ it's validate false, right? It's going to be false, so it will go to z. If it's validate true, like 6 የሆነ x value ከዚህ 6 ከ5 ይበልጣል true ነው, then it will go to here. So some kind of controller, always we should have like some kind of controller, and also like just some have like some kind of like syntax, right? የተለያዩ አይነት ሲንታክሶች አሉ። for example like email address like syntaxዎች የምንላቸው like any kind of like in the email address like add, right? Add something like this, right? In Appian we have like some kind of like function kind of like syntax like fn bank, array bank, right there, like something like kind of እንትኖች ይኖሩናል like እያንዳንዱ programming language ላይ. So if you know all this, then you'll be programming is easy. Like so once you understand the variable, how to declare a variable, how the data structure work, right? So what is the data type? So what is the data algorithm or something like even deep level ከሄዳችሁ ማለት ነው። ግን like it's a data structure, like different data types, and then how to handle like single value and a list of values, right? Array of values and controller, right? So you have like a lot of controller, if condition, case, or something, right? So controller is nothing, right? So like የሆነ ነገር ሲመጣ like አሁን ለምሳሌ like it's easy, right? So ለምሳሌ there is a program like event አለ, right? event ላይ anybody like ሳይሆን like invited የሆኑ ገስቶች ብቻ ናቸው የሚገቡት, right? So you will have like somebody like in front of the door, right? So in front of the door ላይ ያለው ምንድነው የሚያደርገው? you gonna check, right? control ነው የሚያደርግልን if የመጣው ዩዘር like ኢንቫይት የተደረገበትን ወረቀት ሰው ከመጣ he will let him through, right? ያሳልፈዋል። ካልመጣ ግን አያስገባው። ልክ እንደዛ ፕሮግራሚንግ is nothing ነው። like ኮንትሮለሮች አሉ፣ የተለያዩ ኮንትሮለሮች አሉ like based on the logic, like based on the flow ዳይሬክት ያደርገዋል። ኦኬ ይሄን ካሞላ just በዚህ በኩል ልጆች ከሆናችሁ በዚህ በኩል like ትልቅ ሰው ከሆነ በዚህ ተቀምጦ something. So the same thing like programming language you have like controller and then also like different syntaxes አሉ like for example we have in Appian rule bank, cons bank, array bank, review bank. like we're gonna actually cover like አንዳንዶቹ ስንገባ review bank ምንድናቸው ምናምን የሚለው ነገሮች ቀስ እያልናቸው። Any question guys? ጥያቄ የለም? ገብታችኋል ወይስ ግራ ገብታችኋል ጋይስ? ኦልራይት ከኔ ጋር ናችኋል?
አዋለን
ግራ ገብታችኋል ወይስ ገብታችኋል?
እየገባን ነው መሰለኝ።
All right. So cover this. So we'll try to. Okay, let me jump in. Right. So now, like, we create this site, right? So for applicant. So let's jump, right? So like here we have an action to add a user, right? But like it's not clean, right? It's not clean, so it's not like so I can create this stuff, but it's still like it shouldn't allow me like to create this stuff, right? Because I mean at least I need to have like some kind of value like name or phone or something required on field as well. We have just to enter this result to like ይሄን አፕሊካንት ማለት ነው, right? So now like I'll try to like we're gonna try to clean up that stuff. Also I want you to do actually like እንትን ካላችሁ በኋላ I want you to do actually the same thing like ቤታችሁ ናችሁ at least play around how to create how to able to like create like record type የተለያዩ እንትኖችን ያላቸው like at least 10 እንትኖች እንዲኖራችሁ ፈልጋለሁ ቬንደሮች አፕሊካንት ያደረጉ. So starting from here, so we're gonna create like a different application. We're gonna create like when I add like a vendor applicant, so I will have a task assigned to the visitor group, right? Sorry, the supervisor group. So the supervisor will review it and then we're gonna accept or reject. So we're gonna build that workflow on the coming 2 or 3 class, right? So let's start that and then let's try to actually focus on working like here we have like a vendor summary, right? So on this vendor summary we have all this detail But now, like, I don't want it actually. I don't want this guy, like this. You see this vendor applicant contact on the summary page, right? I don't want to. I don't want to see it here because I want to have it like right here. I want to have it like on the contact. All right. So when we create, if you remember, like when we create vendor, like vendor applicant, right there, right? So this actually has like we already created like this relationship, right? Vendor applicant is actually part of like actually it's related to category, status, and the vendor contact, right? So that means like one and the vendor contact and the vendor, right? So like for example, Best Buy can have like multiple contacts, so we can have like multiple point of contact, right? Like it can be HR, it can be sales, it can be CEO, it can be the president, right? either of them like like maybe ኮንታክት እንድናደርጋቸው እንፈልጋቸውን ሶስትም ሆነ አራት ወይም ደግሞ ከፈለጉ like መቶም ሰው ሊሆን ይችላል right መቶ ኮንታክቶች ሊኖራቸው ይችላል ፕሮቫይድ ማድረግ ካለባቸው we're gonna give them like some kind of access for that specific applicant to add all his user groups, right? So now like if you see here we have this guy is an applicant, right? There will be vendor applicant እንትኖች አሉ like it's kind of like one-to-many relationship. But I don't want this guy on my summary page, but I want to remove this part and then I want to add it to the contact, right? So if you see here, right, so I want to go to the contact. Did we generate the contact contacting? It's very slow. For some reason, like it's very slow. All right. Okay. So actually we build like that action or something like that, right? But now it's not. So let's start actually creating our just contact directly from my. Okay, there is nothing right there, right? So I don't want to actually create from here, but I want to just create something on my own, right? So right here, so let's go inside this this side. Where is my right? So let's pick this guy, right? So let's pick this and then let's remove it, at least like we don't want this vendor applicant thing. So like just to go to this guy, right? So there will be I'm gonna show you how to find this interface, right? If you want to find this interface, like Appian is always keep evolving, so they give us like shortcut, right? So they will be here, right? Show object. So you can click on the show object, and then you'll see like here the object name right there, right? But you can just open it from here as well, right? Or you can go to the record type and then you can still go to the view, right? Click on the view on the vendor applicant view page, and you can open and then you can open like the rule right there, right? So the same rule like Ziga my own rule, right? Vendor applicant summary, you can find it right here as well, right? So vendor applicant, you can open it from here as well. Like either you can come here, sometimes like there will be like complex application, so you don't know like where to find that specific interface. So Appian, that's why like just give us this guy, right? So show object, and then like it will give you like the name of the object, like that's actually creating this site, so this page. All right, so if you want to open this guy, just click on open, so it will automatically open for you. Right, so now I will do nothing, but just I'm gonna remove that specific thing, right? And I want to actually create my own right here. So now like if I sorry, So I want to stay on the design page. I don't want to introduce you like on the designer right now. Okay, so here now, like, just I don't want this guy on my page, right? I don't want this guy on my page. So what I need to do is actually I'm gonna remove this guy, right? I'm gonna delete, right? So if you wanna remove from here, it's nothing like it's, you can click here and then remove, right? But when you have an experience, right? So when you have experience, you know, that's why like I go to like an expression, so I can directly go to the expression rule. It's actually created, right? So this is the grid thing, right? So the grid column. So I'm gonna, you know, you see the vendor applicant contact right there. So you know, collapse this, and then I can remove this guy. Okay, I can remove this, then it's automatically removed from here, right? But I want you to do this guy. Okay, I want you like just let me go back. For now, like until you just get, you know, some kind of like practice. I'll click here. Let's click on delete. So it's automatically the same thing, right? So I can delete it from there. I can also just delete it from this side. So and also so looks like it's everything is good here, right? We don't need to do anything on this side, right? So let me just click on save. All right. So now if I go back here and then if I click on the vendor summary, so I don't have anything, right? Right, I don't have that summary. It's kind of like clean thing, right? So I have like clean page. So now I also like want to do like one thing, right? So just clean when I click on the vendor, right? I don't want to add like a contact, like I just, you know, deleted from the summary page, right? But I just don't want even like, you know, when they create an applicant, so I don't want them like to add the contact at the same time, like when they create their applicant, their application. So, but right now, like what we have is right here, let's vendor applicant, and then it's, you know, you can add their role, right? Any kind of role here, and then they kind of like, you know, multiple vendor applicant contact, right? I don't want to do that. Like I just want to like, because I just want to add like only the contact, the, you know, some vendor applicant may don't have like, you know, contact or something. So I just want to create like a separate action for them, right? So that's how can I actually go here? So I can go to here, the action, vendor applicant, because I just created an action, right? I just click on the action. So this action, right? So this action in the action page, like when you click on action, so you will see our record list action and then record related actions, right? So what I have like that thing, that new thing is actually adding the list, right? So I will go to the record list action, right? Oh, this thing is so slow. Right, so yeah, so I would go to the record list action, right? So and I see like this process model is actually attached to this related action. So I'm gonna open this guy, right? And then there will be attached user interface. So I'm gonna open that user interface and then I'm gonna remove the contact section. So that way I will not have like, you know, a contact. All right. And the thing is right here, right? Let me see. This is a vendor applicant. But also like, you know, I just wanna show you here the process model start form. This is the form, right? So you can actually like you know, just click here on the property. There's this actually a property, and click on the process start form. So you'll see the form right there, create or update things. Or you can click here like the start form. This is start form right there. Like, you know, just we can click on the pro start form. She will take you on the same page. So either like you can right click on this guy and click on the Pro Start form, or you can directly come here and then just go to the Pro Start form. So you'll see the form there. So if I just want to edit this, I can open this guy like this way. Just click on the edit interface. It will automatically open it for you right there, right? See, so there will be the same form I see is a vendor applicant. All right, so I'm gonna actually remove this guy. Okay, I'm gonna remove this guy and I'm gonna delete this. Okay, so now it's clean, right? So the only thing just I want to see is actually right, so it's now it's clean. I have like name, phone, data applied, email, or something like that, right? So still I want to show you here is actually let me see, like just create this guy, like yeah, still, because I didn't save it, still it's right there. So once I save it, I'll show you there, right? But like I didn't put any name, I didn't put any email address, I didn't put anything right there, right? So right, but if I click here create, it will allow me, right? It's allow me just to create like without any information. So this is actually bad, right? It's kind of a bad practice, right? I just created, like it's added there, right there. There is nothing, right? So this is something that we don't want to have, right? So like just for this guy, so I want to have like restriction. Like for example, at least we need a phone number, like a name, email, a phone, and some information like an address, right? To make it like kind of like required. So what we have to do is actually uh, it's kind of like simple, right? So you just need to click on the interface field and come here, like on the component configuration. So there's a component like this interface. It has like the preview page, right? So where we're actually editing our interfaces. Like there will be a component page right in the palette. You can drag and drop different stuff that we're gonna build for from scratch, right? I'm gonna create that one right here, as well as here. If you see, there is some kind of like the name like W292 or something like that, so it doesn't make sense, right? So we need to make some cleanup on this guy. Even like if you come here, so there will be a vendor. So it's kind of like a search field. It's a picker field, but there is nothing there, right? So let's actually fix this. Let's make them actually required field. So because we have like a few minutes, so like let's do that cleanup. Then once we get the next class, so we're gonna create like from scratch, like for contact as well, and others will have like some kind of understanding how interface and cross model works. All right, so just like let's make it at least required. So like just make the required field, like just any field, like if you want to update like on the interface, first thing like you have to do is actually click on the on that specific field, and then the component configuration page, it will allow you to make any configuration change, right? So like if you see here, like the label, if I want to update the name, so I can update the name right here, right? It's automatically reflecting right there. Now, just click twice. Like this. Right, so here now I need to find a place like just there is a lot of like configuration, like label label position, like what is the label position for this specific thing, right? We can click the label position like adjacent, if I make it like side by side, right? So kind of like adjacent, right? So it will be like this, right? So if you want to justified, it can be like kind of justified to the left, also like hidden, like I don't want to show even the header and everything, so I can hide that stuff. So like it will be like only space just to enter. Well, for it's best practice when you create like an intake form is makes sure like the label position is above, and whatever the tab is actually below that specific label there, right? Instruction, if you want to add like instruction, right, about like the name field, for example, like sometimes like we have like a field we created a field, and then we say we don't know like what kind of information we have to put, right? So just to help them, right? So you can add, just this field will take, or like just easy, like first name and last name, right? So kind of like you can give them some kind of like instruction, right? So or the business name, right? So it's kind of like then like when they type, right? When they type, so they will know like what kind of information they have to put on that specific field, right? Also like here, the business name or something, right? So like we don't need to do that actually. Like it's not whenever like የሆነ የሚያስፈልግ ነገር ማይ ከሆነ በስተቀር እንጂ like የሆነ ኮንፊውዝድ የማያደርግ ከሆነ በስተቀር እንጂ ብዙ ጊዜ ኢንስትራክሽን አልሰጣቸውም። like but if it's confusing or something, for example, there is a placeholder, right? So that's this is actually I like instead of instruction I like the placeholder. Placeholder is it's nothing like before you write anything, right? So anything type ከማድረጋችን በፊት እዚህ ውስጥ ምን ታይፕ ማድረግ እንዳለብን like kind of a placeholder ማስገባት እንችላለን። the same way ማለት ነው like business name. Like if I type like the business name, then like my form is gonna be like this, right? It's kind of like a business kind of clean, but I know like it's name and then it's a business name, so I can add like something like this and that. So most of the time like it's good to have like in a placeholder instead of instruction, but it's depending on the requirements always. Okay, sometimes we don't need to put anything just not to avoid some confusion. Also like this is where we are actually like displaying a value and saving the value on this guy. So I'm gonna like discuss like more about this guy like when we create we'll try to create like a new interface there and for contact, and I'm gonna just go through that specific thing. So this is kind of like a big concept on this guy, right? To display value and saving to, and refresh after. So if anything, if you want to refresh, right? Most of the time we don't need to, but like if there is a refresh, if I want to refresh the page, like if I want to refresh the local variable stored, so there will be an option here, refresh unfocused, refresh key press, right? So like whenever like I type a key, right? Whenever I type like one letter or something, I will see automatically will refresh for me. It will give me the count as well, right? Right. If I have it like unfocused, right? So I have to like exit from this typing to see like to get some kind of like refreshing effect on my interface. All right. So okay, keepers, that's fine. Right. So character limit, how many characters you wanna store, right? How many characters do you wanna store for this specific guy, right? So like if you want to add like 4000 like on the back end, ለምሳሌ if back end ላይ 4000 ከሆነ ያለው, so we can still just type like 4000 so እስከ 4000 ድረስ መጻፍ ትችላለን እንለዋለን ማለት ነው ዩዘሩ. So the users can type like 4000 characters, so that kind of like limit them, right? Right, so I'm gonna revert it back to the 55. Show character limits if you want to show them, right? If you want to hide, so that's what also like you can hide it, like, but if you want to show them like how many characters they allowed, most of the time like it's a best practice for when the user have like paragraph field, right? Paragraph field የምንላቸው like ከ1000 እስከ 4000 kind of ብዙ ታይፕ የምናደርጋቸው ቫልዩ ያላቸው ቦታዎች ላይ እዛ ላይ እንጠቀመዋለን ማለት ነው። Right, so visibility actually like if I want to just do some kind of like logic to hide from some group, right? Let me I created like a multiple group, right? So based on the group I want to show like, for example, if they are applicant group, I want to show them only name and phone. If they belong to administrator group, I'll show like everything. If they belong to supervisor group, I'm gonna show like email and date field. ሌሎቹን hide ማድረግ ብፈልግ, so this is where actually I have like that specific type, right? So for example, like if I add it right here, you can only show when, and then I have to add like edit the condition, right? I have to add like each user member of the group, right? There is each user member of a group, this is a function there. So it is like if the user is actually belongs to some specific group, if I tap here, then if this validate true, then they will see that specific role. If it's validate false, it's gonna be like ሀይል ይደረጋል ማለት ነው። So the other thing like እኛ የምንፈልገው አሁን እዚህ ጋር የምንመጣ ነው ምንትላ ነው like required ለማድረግ ነው አትሊስት ነው ፎርማችንን required አድርገን አትሊስት some kind of limitation ለማሳየት ነው። So there is a required field, required check right there. So if I type it required right there, now I have like an asterisk at the top of it, right? So I know like if the page has like an asterisk, that means like that specific field is actually a required field. Right now, if I remove anything, right? If I remove stuff from here, all right? If I just keep holding like this data, all right? Now, if I remove this guy and then if I try to create, right? So automatically it gives me a value is required because I just did nothing, like I just did that check, right? Just make them like required field, right? And the required message is actually value is required, but if you want to customize, you can add like a name is required, right? You can customize the name is required, right? So you can still customize it this way, so you will have control what kind of message you want to display on your interface page, right? If I want to make it read-only, right? So like if I don't want them like to type anything, just I want to make them like only for information purpose, like just a display purpose, I can make them read-only. So it will be like read-only. So there will not be bugs, right? There will not be bugs, but I can still pass a value and then display it somewhere, right? I can also like just make them like enabled, right? But also like I have like a disable option, so I can disable like so grayed out, right? So the form will be right there, the imports is gonna be right there, but it's kind of grayed out, so I can't even type anything right there. So you can have like an option right there, so just to make them read only disable. Or also you can have like a mask field, right? So you can make them a mask or whatever you type. For example, like you type your social security or something, right? And then type it's masked, right? So you can't see them like on tab, but like if you see here, you have the value saved, right? So whatever the value saved, but it's actually masked, right? Because we mask that specific thing, right? So but if I mask it, then I will see whatever I put the number, right? So you can so maybe የዚህ አይነት ኢንፎርሜሽኖች ምናምን something like inside applications ተጠቀማታችሁ ይሆናል ብዬ ገምታለሁ። So whenever like type the social security kind of like an asterisk አድርጎ ማስክ ያደርገዋል. So this is kind of like a backend feature we use to mask things, right? So if there is any requirement coming to you saying like I want to see this field, but I want to just mask it, right? Mask ማድረግ ፈልጋለሁ ምናምን but it's easy, right? So kind of like from the requirements, it may seems like kind of like a difficult task, but it's a simple task, kind of like creating this guy and then just make it like a mask field, right? If you want to add like another validation, right? So kind of a validation, for example, if the user type a number inside the name field, right, or something, it's kind of like a validation. If they type more than 100 character, right? If they more than 100 characters, so you can have like a validation group. So we're gonna create like some kind of validation for some part of it, and we will kind of limit them for that specific access. For accessing like or typing unusual character or any kind of like lengthy character. So we still can have like a validation even if it's like a kind of like incorrect value or something like that, right? Validation group, we'll discuss that maybe later. Like validation group is nothing, but I don't want to do the validation like if they put like invalid character or something on this field, right? But this validation group is actually you're gonna create this validation group. So I want to actually validate everything once, right? So like especially like validation group is actually works like if you have like a multiple page, right? Next, when you click next, and then fill out different form, right? For example, on the first page, you fill out the vendor applicant, and then the second page you have like contact, the other page kind of category or something, like you have like multiple page interface, right? But your submit button is actually at the end of page 5, right? So now when you click on the page 5, if you have like validation group, you will automatically check and then see say like this there will be an issue on the page 1, right? Sometimes አይታችሁ ከሆነ like እንትን ላይ any application ስትጠቀሙ 2 3 4 ፔጅ application ሞልታችሁ ከሆነ like application ሞልታችሁ or something submit ስታደርጉት ፔጅ 1 ላይ ያልተሞላ ነገር አለ ብሎ ይወስዳችኋል። So that is how they know it's actually it's because of the validation group. So we're gonna have our validation group pass it, and then like when you click on a submit button, we initiate a validation group. So anywhere like we have this validation group, right? For example, like I will make that validation group as submit, right? And then when I click on the submit, any field like it has a validation group, it will be validated during creation, like during submit, we're gonna validate, and we're gonna see, okay, I know I'm not actually, I'll let you to submit because there is some value mismatch or there is some value required. So that's how actually you can control your validation across different interface, sorry, different pages, right? But you don't need a validation group, especially when you create one page. But if you have like multiple pages, people's in a real project we have like multiple pages, you can click next, click next, click next, and then just fill out the form, multiple forms, right, at the same time. And then when you click on submit, and then if you miss anything on the first page, then it will take you, okay, just you have to do this guy, right? Then automatically you have to go back and then correct whatever the information there, and then you can submit the form. All right, alignment, it has like a left, center, right. It's nothing like you can align like left, you can align like center, like whatever you type right there inside, and then you kind of like align like center, like whenever you type, I want to see it like on the right side, I want to see it on the center, something like that, right? So you can make them like an alignment right there, right? Accessibility text, it's nothing, it's kind of like informational text. Input purpose, some Appian is actually also always keep giving us like for example the input purpose on this guy, like for that specific field, I created this input field for a phone number, right? And kind of like it will give us some kind of additional logic, like, and then kind of, let me see, and I'm gonna create this guy. It will allow us, but like it will help us to validate as well, right? So like for input purposes, email, and you can I don't know why it's actually saving. So kind of you can specify like what it's actually the purpose of that specific field. It's actually a phone number or something. So it's automatically actually should validate like based on that input purpose. If you type anything and then go out, so it's automatically need to check that specific functionality. I will automatically just give you kind of like a logic. Okay, this is email, but you added a wrong email or something like that, right? All right. So let's make them like kind of like a required field here. So now just nothing, but I'm gonna add here. I'm gonna like I know like just now I got all of the fields right there, right? So let me go and then add an email. Required data applied. I want to make it required as well. Okay, category as well is actually a required field. Okay, so category is actually it's getting the information directly from the record type, right? It's using record picker field. Like there is a record picker field, so but in our record category there is nothing there. So like I want to make actually this guy category, and instead of this fine, like let's clean up category, and I'm gonna just make it like a required field. That's it. Address line 1, is a required field. Address line 2 is optional. City is required. It's simple, right? So just click here on that specific field and click on whatever the configuration you want to do, like on the component configuration page. Zip code, the vendor status is actually we don't need that. Actually, we don't need this field, so I'm gonna remove it, right? Delete this guy. Also, like the is active field, we we don't need to, like, we know, like when they create the application, so it's actually automatically should be like an active field, right? So we should remove this guy as well, like the is active field, and then automatically when they create, so we will make that an active field. All right, so that's I was gonna show you there at that time. Okay, here state, right? State is required again. Address line as well. Now, like, looks like our stuff is good, right? But I can save this guy now, and if I come here on this guy on the site and click here on vendor applicant, right? Click new vendor applicant. Like now it's actually clean, right? So can I actually create now? Like, no, right? So like I will add this guy, right? So I can pick the dates, right? But still, like, I don't have anything picker right here. I don't have any data right there. So I'm not able to like create anything because every value is actually required, right? That's actually what I want. So I need to have a logic on the back end just to restrict the users not to put like information. So whatever needed information before they create, they have to put it, right? So now just we made them like a required field, so they can't click and then create and the submit on this page, right? So that's good. So at least like just to avoid this guy, right? To avoid this page. So the only issue we have on this guy is actually on the category. We don't have data, right? So we have like we just let me steal like 5 minutes from you because you steal 50 minutes from me. So an applicant, I will gonna add like a couple of things, and then you can add like whatever you want. So I'll go from here, like from to category here. So if you see category, like the reason like actually I'm coming here just to add this guy, right? So like whenever like I type this, but that's like my battery was out. Okay, so whenever like type like for example like education or something, so it's nothing there, right? So that's why I don't want to like, because at least I want to create my information right here. So that's why I came here. Like I was gonna create like only one, then you can add like multiple. Okay, so on the data preview, so if you see here, Appian gave us an option to add data, right? All right, anyhow, so we can add actually data there, like it's kind of like slow. I actually wanna just leave you guys. So maybe I will add like some data there, and then I'll show you like on the next class. Do you have anything for me? Otherwise, we can conclude our class. Do you have any question for me?
One question.
Sure, Rodas.
On data type, like ሁለት ፊቸሮች ወጥተዋል አይደለ? Still we need the data store create አድርገን ነው ደስ ቤዛችን ላይ ነው። ላይክ ዳታችን ስቶር የምናደርገው ዳታ ስቶር ክሬት አድርገን ነው ወይስ ጀስት ዳታቤዝ ላይ ነው ሴቭ የሚሆነው? አት ዘ ባክ ኤንድ
ሪከርድ ታይፖች ናቸው።
ያ
just give me a second, okay? Just someone's matter. All right. Sorry about that, guys. What was the question?
Yeah, like data type not like data store still እናደርጋለን or just back in the no store የምናደርጋቸው?
Oh yeah, so
በፊት
no,
ፊቸሮች አልነበሩ?
data store and data type kind of like deprecate ሆነዋል, right? So
Yeah.
now like replaced by a record type, right? So everything like play የምናደርገው with the record type ነው. So የት ነው ስቶር የምናደርጋቸው? still database ላይ ነው, right? But previously if you remember like there's two ways, right? Two options ነበሩ, right? So አንደኛው from record type ቀጥታ ወደ database ሶርሳችን ጋር መገናኘት እንችል ነበር። ሁለተኛው ደግሞ through data store we can create a CDT and then we can map them to the data store, right? So the reason so still that's actually supported, right? Supported like because there is a lot of application actually built that way, like all the way like in companies actually ብዙ ካምፓኒዎች ላይ ማለት ነው። So still like you'll see like record type CDT እና data storeዎችን still ማየት ትችላላችሁ, like because if it's actually built like old ማለት ነው still supported ናቸው ለኦልዶቹ. But starting from now, like when you create an application, so there will not be like CDT there, right? So the way you store a value, right? Whatever the data store like sync starts የምናደርገው through record type, So you can so whenever like we create an application, whenever you create like a record type, you can create a kind of like a structure, data structure, and you can you copy the script from there, right? So the same way like what we did like through CDT as well, right? So but now CDT is kind of like old stuff. So everything is actually focused on the data fabric concept of like this record type. So that's why like everything kind of record type is kind of a center like right now, like especially now it's kind of a centric for Appian. It's kind of like heart of Appian. So that's why.
Okay.
ጥያቄ መለስኩልሽ ወይስ?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, just let me know like if you have any other question, guys. But also like if you see here from Appian, like we can add የተለያዩ አይነት እንትኖች አሮዎች መጨመር እንችላለን ካታጎሪዎች ምናምን ነገር ብለን ራይት ለምሳሌ አንዱን ብቻ አድል አድርጋትና እዚህ ጋር
ቪዲዮ አይታየም ባይ ዘ ወይ
ሼር ማድረግ አቆምኩኝ
ማለት አቁመሃል
ኦኬ
አቁመሃል እንደገና
yeah
yes now you're good.
You see my Appian page or Teams?
Yes, now we do.
Appian page, right? Okay. So if you see here, like education, bulan maskabat enchilalan, like, okay, let me go back. And let me go back and show you, right? So you can add like, multiple category actually, like, at least ስትመጡ የተለያየ አይነት categories, like, ለምሳሌ እኔ ጋር ማስገባው education, electronics, and furniture, like, ሶስት ብቻ ማስገባ, like, እናንተ ጋር የተለያየ category ማስገባት ትችላላችሁ. So, just Appian in database ላይ, sorry, record type ላይ መታችሁ, on the data preview section, click on add row, right? So you can add like multiple row here. So you can add from here, right? Education created by myself right there, right? So I'm gonna add this guy, created on this guy, and then created by this date, right? So now I can add like one, I can add like another as well, right? Come on, it's very slow. I just add like education. I need to add like another one as well right here. For example, like furniture. HAZ. Right. So now here, if I now just ሁለቱ ይበቃኛል ሌላ ታይም ላይ ማስገባት እንችላለን. So once I get this, click add, so I will see them like on my data, on my record type. So now actually add ያደረኩት ምንድነው only record type ላይ ነው Appian data server ላይ ብቻ ነው ሴቭ ያደረኩት. So and there, see, like I just add them like this education, furniture, category groups right here, right? But if I go back to my database side and then see the category, right? So whatever I did is actually adding that kind of things like on the category. Right? So this is, no, this is not the one. Well, okay, sorry. What was my name? Okay, got it right. I'm gonna need vendor category here. What's the name? Okay, this is vendor category, right? So nothing, I don't have nothing like, I see it actually, it's added right here, right? It's new feature, but it's not on my database side. I just added on my record type, right? So okay, if I need to add like in the database side, so I can write change, like there is on the tab, there is a write change. It will ask me, oh, do you want me to write this change to your database? And then you can download the script as well. So like whatever you did here, and then what you will give you the script, the database scripts, which actually Appian run on the backend, right? So you can also copy that script, and then for next time when you want to insert something, you can have it like you can tweak አድርጋችሁ add ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ ማለት ነው. So I just click right, like whatever the change here, I just click right there. Now if I refresh this guy now, right there, see, whatever I did is actually automatically reflected. So the same way I can add it from here as well. I can add it from here and then sync it on the back end. From here sync አድርገዋለሁ ከዛኛው ከዳታቤዝ ላይ መጥቼ አድ ባረግ እዚህ ጋር ለምሳሌ if I add from here what kind of electronics, like electronics, and kind of is active is true, and kind of created by is as dates created today. It's created, right? So I just added from on the database side as well. Like this is actually the script that I executed. So I have like electronics on this guy. But if I come here and if I refresh this page, I don't see that, right? So that's actually the two ways, right? So if you add it from record type, you don't see it on the database side until you click on write. Also, like if you made any change on the database side and then you don't make any sync or something, or automatically sync calendar, you have to make a sync manually, and then you will see the results on your front end. So actually, like I'll go back here, like until refresh. So I just want to show you here is actually now if I type electronics education or E or something furniture, I got it now, right? So I can select from the my picker list, right? So now I'm able to create this guy. So now at least in Resolve Argonaut. So now let me see, where am I? Category. This is a category, yes, category right there, right? So now if you see data preview, nothing there, right? Only two. Yeah, automatically sync argon, right? So that's good. Automatically sync argon, but if you don't see that, right? So there will be an option here on the sync option. I will give you an option here right there, right? So fully synced. So skip field sync, you can schedule it as well, but also like you can check, like you see, find last minute actually synced is actually 7:53, 7:57. That is actually interesting. But if you want to add like a start full sync, like you can add like in a start full sync here, and you also you can get the sync tree when it's actually synced or something. You get it from there as well. Yeah, but this is actually how you add the like now Appian give us we don't need to do like from the backend, but also like you can add from Appian the records, and you can write them back to the database side. So all right guys, so I will let you go if you don't have any question, but if you have any question, just please feel free to forward it. I will see you on Monday.